Hey, so welcome everyone. This is take two. Hopefully it works. There was something weird going on with my slides. So yeah, got a haircut today. Feeling good. Everyone should be feeling good. And I just wanted to talk about, I was sitting while I was making these slides and I was thinking five things that are holding you back. It seems quite negative. Some of these Zoom calls might feel very targeted or attacked I get it. Because sometimes it's always like, okay, it's all about the things that we're doing wrong, but what about the things that we are doing right? And I just want to say off the bat, you're doing amazing. If you're engaged in the fitness community, you've got a coach, you're doing PT, whatever it is, like you are doing amazing and you're already in the right place. So it's not so much about like, things that are holding you back or things that you're doing wrong. It's just a conversation to talk about some of the things that might be under the radar that you haven't thought about. Because we can do so much good work. We can be in the gym, we could be smashing out workouts, whatever it is. We could be doing all these amazing things, but it's just the tiny little things that you wouldn't even think about that can hinder that progress. So let's dive in, let's talk about it, and let's see where we can make some adjustments. So first of all, what I want to talk about is mindless snacking. So we all know about it, and this is the thing that I was trying to get at. It's not like a pointing fingers. It's not like a okay, you're doing this wrong. Like we all know that mindless snacking or snacking is a problem or a thing that we do. It's about, how to identify that and at least be aware of it. So eating while watching TV, classic. Like if you're watching a film, you're watching a series, oh, I'm gonna have that cup of tea or the biscuits with it. I do it. I'm bloody human. But the thing is that we need to actually reflect and think, okay, cool, is this aligning with my goals right now? If I'm looking to go on holiday or if I'm looking to lose some weight by X time, is me having a cup of tea or is me having biscuits with this tea serving me and my goals? Or is it kind of, delaying that process or delaying that success of where I want to be? So maybe have your cup of tea, just got the biscuits, or if you want the biscuits, maybe not have sugars in the tea. Swap the tea for something else where there's not milk and there's not sugar. What kind of adjustments can be made there? And again, like things like eating the kids' leftovers, tasting while cooking, office or desk snacks. Classic again, like you're at your desk, you're working away, you're typing up, and then that person in the office comes in with the box of donuts. Way, bought lunch for everyone. No, like you need to think and like try and remove yourself from that situation, which is very, very difficult, and I get that. But these are all things, and again, it's not to point fingers or it's not to say like this is what you're doing wrong, but this is where it's coming from. Again, like why work so hard in the gym? Why, follow your program? Why spend hours walking or running or doing boxing, whatever it is that you do for activity? Why spend all of this time putting all of that work in to then go and let it down because someone's bought a box of donuts in or someone's bought this crazy lunch or this pizza? It's not serving you and it's not serving your goal. And we just need to be aware of that. Second is the weekend mentality, having a takeout, having that drink, going hard, or like kind of like I'll start again on Monday. So it's kind of like, oh, okay, like the weekend doesn't matter. Let me kind of, I'll start again, like a new week, new me type thing. Okay. You get to the weekend and there's no prep. So this is the thing. It's almost like, is the weekend the problem, or is it that you just didn't plan or even think about what's going to happen at the weekend? So therefore, you've fallen into that habit of just going all out or having that takeout. Whereas if you went, okay, cool, Saturday and Sunday, this is what's going to be for lunch, this is the plan for dinner, you're less likely to kind of have that sporadic feeling or get that takeout or have that feeling to, do something crazy. So, and this is the thing as well, like I'm not here to be a party pooper. Okay, we can have those nights out, we can have those, family dinners. That one meal isn't going to impact the whole week. But if it becomes the weekend where you kind of just chill out and relax and just let it all go, that's 30% of your week. Okay. So again, like I'm going to make this so clear. One meal, one drink, one night, not day, won't make a massive impact. But allowing that entire weekend just to fall apart, not having a plan, not staying on track, that's where the impact comes. And thinking that, oh, okay, Monday is a new start, I can kind of like get kick-started again. That's where, those small portions of gains are being left on the table. Again, you've worked Monday to Friday, you've been in the gym, you've been smashing it, all to let it go on the weekend. Was it worth it? Okay. Next one is I'll burn it off. Okay. So kind of similar to the whole weekend thing. It's kind of like the burn it off mentality. So most exercise will burn, and that anyone that has smartwatches or tracks their workout, most exercise will burn kind of 200 to 400 calories. All right. If you, and that's not, people have burnt like 700 calories a workout. But think about this. I want to add this point. If your exercise is burning, 200 to 400 calories, and that's an hour of like working out and doing exercise, just a protein bar will amount to the same, or a slice of pizza, a drink, you know, going to a pub, a beer, easily 200, 300 calories. So that hour of activity, that hour that you spend grinding in the gym, doing weights, sweating, just then be added on by a single drink or a protein bar. And the thing is, yes, we want to increase our protein. Yes, we want more protein, but that protein bar is also calories. And, this is always kind of, pinpointed at kind of weight loss and calorie tracking, which again, for some of you might be the right or wrong thing. At that point, it doesn't matter. It's just identifying that, you won't be able to burn off a bad diet, and it just doesn't work that way. Your diet needs to supplement your exercise and your kind of lifestyle change. Exercise can't help the nutrition. Okay. So that nutrition needs to be the forefront of your goal because you won't burn it off. Now, this is an interesting one. I think the only way to really kind of like really get at the sleep, not problem, but the sleep conversation is actually seeing how this impacts your kind of fitness and nutrition. So here's a graph. For those of you that will be listening, you won't be able to see this, but I'll read it out. So the sleep deprivation effects and then the impact of fitness and nutrition. So ghrelin, this is our hunger hormone. With sleep deprivation, that hormone increases. So therefore, we're feeling hungrier throughout the day. Less sleep, feeling hungrier. These are bad food choices. Your leptin decreases. So therefore, you feel less satisfied after eating. Your body doesn't have that same response. Cortisol rises, stress, promoting fat storage, especially around the belly. Your insulin sensitivity drops, so therefore your body stores more fat and processes sugar differently. Your workout recovery is decreased, so therefore your muscle repair and energy drops. And your motivation, and like this is the thing, who's woken up with a bad night's sleep and gone, I'm going to smash it today? Woo! Unlikely. You're more likely to skip that workout. You're more likely, to spend longer in bed, make a poor decision, get that sugar in for this high or this effect, or to make you feel better because you had a bad sleep. Sleep has a massive impact. And I really want anyone that's watching this to actually look at these things, look at the graph, take it in, because the thing is, we take sleep for granted. We think, the 3, 4, 5 hours is acceptable, but all of these things have an impact on your fitness and nutrition. And again, like the point that I'm trying to get at is that, all of you do work so hard, all of you do the right things, but if you're not getting enough sleep, look how that impacts. You know, you could be, and I see it all the time, like people doing like, 6 days a week, 7 days a week, you're absolutely killing it in the gym. But then because, that sleep has let you down, because you find the sleep focus, really difficult, or you don't get, those 7, 8 hours, you're going to feel hungry all day. So therefore, it's not your fault that you're eating more. It's just that your body hasn't had the repair or recovery or the sleep that it's needed. So therefore, it's just fighting against your goals. So therefore, if not going to the gym in a day, allows you to have more sleep, then actually in the long run, that might be a better decision. So, and it kind of goes back again to that I'll burn it off mentality. Exercise isn't always the way. Maybe it's sleep. It's always going to be nutrition, but is it exercise or is it sleep? Because actually, by having less sleep, it's also not serving you. So yeah, just have a look at that and think about that. And then final, like just to finish this off, like the fifth thing before we kind of go on to actionable steps is that the all or nothing mindset. It's so easy to, go for a cheat meal or, feel like you failed the week and then that's it. You've blown it. I know that pressure. I know that feeling. You've got a particular target that you want to hit on this particular week, and you might have missed it because maybe you had too many carbs, so your body is holding more water. Maybe you didn't have enough sleep, so therefore your body's holding more fat. You feel more hungry. You haven't recovered. Don't blow it. It's not the end of the world, and just one bad moment doesn't reflect your entire year. Okay. Fitness, whether you're part of a coaching program, whether you're doing like personal training sessions, whether you're looking for like a transformation, this game or this journey doesn't end. It ends when we die. Okay. And again, like it's not about coaching, it's not about training, it's not about anything like that. We're alive on this planet. Okay. And this journey is part of life. So therefore, one bad moment doesn't mean that your entire, however long you've lived, is all out the window. You just need to get back on track. Because actually, when you think about it, that one small thing is so insignificant and you can still make a change after that. It feels crap. I get that. It feels shit, when you've got a goal and you didn't hit it, and then you start thinking, oh, it's because of that bag of sweets, it's because I had the kids' leftovers, it's because it's all good. Just relax, there's another week, there's another day, you can get back at it again. One bad moment doesn't reflect who you are, and it doesn't, change everything. Again, we're in this for the long run. We're alive on this planet. There's still stuff to be done. We still need to look after our health, and thinking that way is counterproductive to our mental health. So, let's drop it. It's all good. We can go back and we can kind of fight again for another day. Now, let's talk about actionable steps. So, think about these 5 things. So, snacking, weekend setbacks, whether it's like burning off calories, right, or thinking about, burning off calories, sleep and stress, which is the main one, and this like all or nothing mindset, really beating down hard on yourself. Rate yourself 1 to 10. So 1, really struggling, and 10 is like, I'm smashing it. Like, don't even need to think about that. So let me give you an example. So for me personally, mine was snacking. Do I snack throughout the day without thinking about it? Yeah. I would say that I can do that. I struggle with that. So let me give myself a 2. Weekend setbacks, probably 8. Don't really struggle with that. Activity awareness and kind of thinking, oh, I'll burn it off. I'll probably give myself a 5. We always have this kind of mindset where we're like, I exercise, so I'm allowed to have more. Cool, all good. Probably about a 5 out of 10. Sleep and stress. My sleep is around like that 6, 7 hours. I could do better. So let's give me a 3. And then that all or nothing mindset, really beating down hard on myself. My mindset can be like that, but when it comes to my fitness goals and stuff, I'm not majorly critical, so I'd probably say a 4 out of 10. Okay. So I'm going to add those up. I'm going to think about it. Okay. Where is my biggest struggle right now? And that lies with the snacking. So now let's create an action plan for this week. So pick one habit to focus on. So for me, it'll be snacking. Journal the triggers. Like, what is it that's really triggering that habit? So if it's, for example, this mindset, what triggers that mindset? What triggers that one-off thing? Is it stepping on the scales? Is it that you've had that packet of sweets and then you kind of think, oh, fuck it. I'm just gonna, is it when you get in from work that you go, oh, I've had a long day, fuck it, throw it all out the window? What is the thing that triggers? Because what happens, and this is maybe a little bit too late to go on a tangent, but I'll say this is that, you go to the doctors and say, you're sick, and they'll give you the tablet to help you with the feeling or emotion or feeling sick, but they haven't actually helped with the cause. So let's say I'm eating bread, I'm eating bread, I'm eating bread. And then I go to the doctor and say, oh, I feel terrible. And then the doctor says, oh, here's a tablet. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I feel better now. I'm eating bread, I take the tablet, eat the bread, take the tablet. The bread is the problem, not the medication or the tablet. So what does that mean? What it means is find the trigger. What is it that's making you feel this way? What's making you kind of react in this way, or what's causing this habit? Stop going for the pill. Actually try and think about where this triggers from and where this starts from. Celebrate your daily wins. Don't be hard on yourself. If snacking is one of like your habits that you want to focus on, like myself, that's I'll commit to that. Snacking is one of my things that I'm struggling with. my daily win would look like, okay, it gets to the end of the day, I'm watching something, I then go to pick up a biscuit or a cup of tea, and I go, actually, boom, I've just found my trigger. Fuck you. I'm not going to have this tea. I'm not going to have this biscuit. Boom, win. I just won for the day. Yeah. That's how you identify your wins. That's how you kind of achieve yourself. And that's how you go, cool. I've just identified a thing. Let me step away from that thing. Let me just go grab a glass of water. Let me have electrolytes. What else can I kind of use to kind of give me that sensation or that feeling that, I'm having something while watching the film. And then like check in with the week of your progress. So next week we're all going to do a check in. Message me, drop me a message after watching this. Let me know what that habit is that you want to focus on, and make some change. Because again, five things that are holding you back. Again, it's not like a pointing fingers. It's not blaming anyone for anything. All it is that you work so hard already. You will do so much. It's just the small little things that are probably holding you back a lot more than you think and you realize. And I think the sleep is always a big one. Snacking is always a big one. Why work so hard and why put so much energy into a thing just for like a 1% change to make the biggest impact? So think about it. Hopefully this helped. The next two Zooms will be answering your nutrition questions that we done last week. I'm really excited for that. I hope you all are having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next one.